This is my last time to speak with you both before you become husband and wife. I have just one more thing to offer you, a recommendation, if you will. Perhaps the most important thing of all. It's my hope that you'll remember it always. Mike and Jess, there should always be three in a marriage. You, your spouse, and Jesus Christ. Invite him into every part of your marriage. Allow him to be your strength when you're weak. Receive the graces that he so freely gives. It helps imperfect men and women to rise to the perfection of oneness that he calls couples to in marriage. Practice your faith together. Pray together. And ask for God's blessings on all that you do. For it is the power of God that is forming you into one flesh today. God has brought you both to this day, and as you promise to be faithful to one another forever, so too does God promise to be faithful to both of you. So what will marriage be like? Well, you will need to learn to place the needs of one another before your own needs. You will learn to compromise, and at times, simply give in. You will have incredible fights. You will have glorious makeup sessions. You will wake up some days the happiest person in the world. You will wake up others and say, what am I doing here? You will experience what it means to be known by another human being more intimately, more truly, as you really are. You will come to appreciate the great wisdom of God in your complementarity as a man and a woman. It is an incredible design. You will find that your spouse is good at all the things that you're not, and vice versa. In time, you will start to talk like each other, look like each other, and finish each other's sentences. You'll eventually realize this and have a great laugh over it. In fact, you'll laugh together a great many times, and cry together other times. You will worry together, rejoice together, share dreams and disappointments. You will hurt each other, and you will need to learn to forgive one another. You'll soon learn that it makes no sense to be mad at one another for any length of time, because life is short, time is precious. You'll discover things about each other that drive you nuts, and 5 minutes later you'll find yourself boasting to others about how wonderful your spouse is. You will learn that living out the vows which you exchange today require a total self-giving of one to another. You will come to learn the great irony that it's in the giving that you truly receive. Even though the two of you will become one, neither of you will disappear, but rather each of you come to discover who you really are. You will become each other's best friends in the face of the world. You will look back someday in the far-off distant future and say with conviction that you would have had it no other way than to journey alongside, hand in hand, sharing everything and every part of yourself, the person that is sitting next to you right now. All of this will start today. Perhaps you will be called to the vocation of parenthood, and God will allow you the miracle of co-creation, a life created out of your love as a couple, just as God creates out of love. And then you will really start to understand what total giving is all about. And you'll be afforded the privilege of caring for that new life. You'll experience the wonderment of family, a new family. Your family as a community of persons. And you'll watch that new life grow up, sharing so much of the ways of you both, and yet still unique individual. You'll experience some of your greatest joys and some of your greatest heartaches in the process. You may even come to understand God the Father a little better as a result of your experience. Someday, you will grow old and wrinkly. Your hair and your teeth will fall out. You'll each put on 100 pounds. You will tell the same stories over and over again, perhaps the great delight of your grandchildren. Maybe a young person will come up to you and ask, so what is your secret? How did you manage to stay married all those years? You will look at each other and grin, and then the two of you will look up at God, and He will be looking down at you with a smile and a wink. Well, you'll say, it's no secret. Once upon a time, a long time ago, we put on a wedding suit and a wedding dress. And we went to a church that stood before our family We held each other's hand, and we made some promises to one another. All we did was keep those promises. And then you look at each other and realize we made it. Once you thought your wedding day would be the happiest day of your life, but then you will know better. You have acquired wisdom the hard way by living and experiencing. Now you know that every day of your married lives felt deeper in love with one another. You have earned what lovers own. You have learned the meaning of and two shall become one flesh. Mike and Jess, I wish God's most abundant blessings on you both. When you exchange your vows today, hold that moment in your hearts forever and become that wrinkly old married couple together. Please stand. My dear friends, you have come here today in this church so that the Lord may seal and strengthen your love in the presence of the church's minister and this community. Christ abundantly blesses this love. He has already consecrated you in baptism. Now he enriches and strengthens you both by a special sacrament so that you may assume the duties of marriage and mutual and lasting fidelity. And so, in the presence of this church, I ask you to state your intentions. Mike and Jess, have you come here freely and without reservation to give yourselves to each other in marriage? Will you love and honor each other as man and wife for the rest of your lives? Will you accept children lovingly from God and bring them up according to the law of Christ and His church? Since it is your intention to enter into marriage, join your right hands and declare your consent before God and His church. Michael, do you take Jessica to be your wife? Do you promise to be true to her in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health, to love her and honor her all the days of your life? Jessica, do you take Michael to be your husband? Do you promise to be true to him in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health, to love him and honor him all the days of your life? You have declared your consent before the church. May the Lord in His goodness strengthen your consent and fill you both with His blessings. What God has joined, men must not divide.